Hello, and this is going to be a deep dive into everything Omega cards, from farming them to all of the nuances in between, sets to use, etc. I made this video with my alliance mate Cookies from X-Force. X-Force, we are a very big alliance from everything from the best free-to-play whales, tryhards, min-maxers, you name it. We have everyone that loves this game, and we like to collectively get together, share information, and give it to the community. To get started, though, I thought that this was important. This is from my alliance mate Vrondius. Vrondius has a he has a reputation for probably being the best free-to-play player in the game. He's very, very smart on how he does everything. He made this infographic, and it does everything from show you the cards, number of cards, special cards, 2-set bonus, 4-set bonus, but to co-sign on how this works well with this this video, has primary stats, everything, but let's go down here, primary use, where to farm them. So even specials, so you can, now specials can be super, 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 super rare. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so just keep that in mind. This will just give you more agency over how you farm and how to go after specific cards and give yourself the best chances to put together the sets you want. So we are going to get into it. This resource, this spreadsheet, will be available in our Discord under MFR resources. So if you'd like to be able to look at it more in depth on your own time, you're free to do so. Find us on Discord. Link will be in the description. Other than that, let's get started. And this is Cookies and I going over Omega cards. All right, I am live on Twitch. I have one of my alliance mates, Cookies, in chat with me. Cookies was the person that did an exceptional amount of crazy, awesome, helpful, resourceful work on putting together the spreadsheet. He actually does that for a living, for the damage labs and which gear we should use for all of the characters that help each skill. And this is a conversation we're gonna have about Omega cards, and he believes they're a lot more free-to-play friendly than people probably give them credit for. Cookies, floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, hey everybody. So I'm in a lot of streams now with us being in the first week of global launch, and it seems like one of the common questions somebody says is, I'm willing to spend, but should I spend them on costume pulls or should I spend them on Omega card pulls? And by all means, spend your money however you want. However, I think that at least starting out, there are more viable ways to get good Omega cards without spending than on the costume side. And so, while you're figuring the game out, as you play your characters and get a sense of, who you want to main, how stuff works, I think it's probably best to not necessarily dump a ton of money into systems without, knowing which route you want to go and how things work. So, Tony, if you bring up the settings screen, we're going to navigate to the Omega cards. And this will kind of show us a way to basically figure out what kind of stuff we can target farm here with Omega cards. So if we go to the Omega cards,
yes, sir.
And there are a bunch of different cards that we can get. Now, until you play the game for a little while, you're not going to know what cards exist and what kind of implicit traits they have and what kind of set bonuses they have. So if we go to that third tab, the card sets. So here are all of the different card sets and the cards which make them up. A couple things you'll see immediately. Some of them have a golden border and a shimmer, like that Captain America in the middle of the screen, part of Midgardia number 2. Those special cards are technically available even without spending. They are most commonly going to be pulled only from gacha mechanics. They technically exist in the Omega War store for 6,000 Omega War tokens, but it's such an immaterial drop rate, you're really not going to ever expect to pull them from there. But technically, they are obtainable without spending money. However, we're not going to even focus on special cards, right? Because the goal is to get a good set of cards up and running without having to sit there and spend a bunch of money and doing 10 pulls. By all means, go crazy after the fact once you know what you're doing and if that's what you want to do. So we'll actually keep it, Tony, you can actually keep it on that Midgardia 2 set.
Okay.
We can just start there. What you'll notice is in the description, that bottom half, after it shows you the 6 cards that make up that set, you get a 2, 4, and 6 set bonus, right? You get attack for 2 cards, defense for 4, and then you get an HP bonus if you assemble all 6. Now, again, you don't have to run any sets. If you are a big blubbery whale or a kraken, you might run 6 special cards, and they're not going to have 2, 4, and 6 set bonus. You're just going to go for, raw stats with those special cards. But again, that's not what we're doing here. What we want to do is we want to leverage good value Omega cards. And if we can flex a 2 or a 4-piece set bonus in there, well, that's just going to be, icing on the cake, right? So let's back out of Midgardia 2. Now, I have a couple sets, as an Iron Man at least, that I like for raw DPS. If you run some different characters, for instance, Captain Marvel, you like the ult gauge buildup. If you're a Spidey, you may like something that gives you, a dodge bonus. But I'm not a Spidey main, so I won't steer you down that path. You can get, within the exclusive stats, every character is going to have a different set of potential roles for the exclusive and bonus stats. But exclusive roles and bonus roles are total RNG. You have a fixed pool of 5 or 6 stats that may roll, but other than crunching up to 4 and 5 and 6 stars, you're not going to really be able to control that. That's total RNG. So, Tony, let's go to the Hydra set. I believe it's probably in the middle on the top line here under card sets. If we scroll up, yeah, the very middle set at the top, Hydra Empire number 2. So this is a set that I like as an Iron Man. And as you can see right off the bat, a 2-piece set will give you, an attack bonus. That's on top of the bonuses in every single card. So every card's going to have a top line fixed roll. It's going to have a bonus roll, and then it will have an exclusive roll. But that 2-piece set is just going to give you another flat attack roll on top of all those other rolls, right? So as we see Arnim Zola pop up, what I like to run, again, as an Iron Man, biased towards just trying to stack as much offensive might as possible. I like the card that Tony has up here already, a plus crit damage roll as a fixed roll. And then there's a second card, actually to the left of this one, Tony, that gives you flat attack, right? So what you do is you can say, okay, I want to target damage. So you get a guaranteed attack roll on one card. You get a guaranteed crit damage roll on the second card. As you crunch them up to 3, 4, 5, 6-star cards, you'll get bonus rolls, you'll get exclusive stats. And then on top of all that, you're going to get that 2-piece attack bonus. Now, how do you get this card? Tony, go ahead and click the yellow question mark in the top right-hand corner. So where to acquire, right? Every single card is going to say shop. And if you click on any of those yellow special cards we talked about earlier, it will only say that it's in the shop. But you see here, it also tells us, well, that's Hydra Empire, right? So as you're trying to figure out, okay, what cards do I want to try to farm and where can I farm them? Well, the game's going to tell you exactly where to go, right? Go to Hell's Kitchen. It will actually transport you to exactly where it can farm. And typically, these are going to be what comes out of your prime boss drops. Everyone gets 2 prime kills a day outside of Dark Zone and another 2 kills a day for prime bosses within Dark Zone. For non-primes, it's 7 outside of Dark Zone and another 7 in Dark Zone. And so this is where, outside of activity log, when you see people calling out in world chat, Red Skull Channel 2, they're doing that to try to give people a chance to come in, get hits on Red Skull, kill him, and if it's one of the first 2 prime kills of the day, they'll get the box roll, and they'll just try to target farm those cards. It's total RNG. I've been, farming for the last week and a half, trying to get this crit damage card for Red Skull. It hasn't rolled yet. Nothing you can do about that. But again, you can sit there, you can try to target farm, a few cards, a few sets, and none of this has anything to do with spending money, right? That's the goal of, this conversation is how can I get decent cards without sitting there and just doing indiscriminate, 10 pulls and just trying to get lucky that way, right? So, we looked at the Hydra 2 set, which had the attack and which had the crit damage. There's another card in there that does cooldown reduction. Some characters may really like cooldown reduction. And I think outside of the Hydra 2, Tony, if we go back to card sets, the other popular one is going to be that Midgardia 4 set, second row on the right-hand side, right?
Yeah,
now,
I see a lot of people running this.
As you get to the higher levels, and if you're really trying to push up, Dimension Duel and Omega War, the 2-piece crit damage and the 4-piece crit rate, it's not amazing by itself, right? You're probably better off maybe, running some different stuff. However, once again, if you're just trying to stack raw stats, crit damage is great, and so is crit rate, and your power ratings that people
I'd like to
chase.
point out right on cue, I killed a spawn and got Omega cards just now. I don't know if anyone saw those pop up, but I'm at a spawn location right now. I just to show you, we went to the location, and one spawn while we were having a conversation. I killed it and got 2 Omega cards. So,
and if someone wants to be efficient with their time, if anybody does any sort of AFK farming or nighttime farming, just trying to get regional materials and maybe a little bit of gold, if you set your character up where a prime boss or even prime and non-prime bosses spawn in the same areas of the map, but if you set your character on one of those spawns, you may wake up in the morning, and assuming you haven't logged out by the game, you'll actually accrue some of those prime and non-prime kills without even doing anything, and it's way more friendly than having to sit there and spend active time running all over the map as you get the notifications that bosses are spawning and trying to kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I like that Hydra Empire number 2 that we looked at. I like the 2-piece attack bonus. And then the Midgardia 4, you get
this is a popular Chase the Dragon. If you're really looking to, if you want to know what's the best set, I feel like a lot of the community would suggest Dark Zone 4. Would you agree, Cookies?
I know in the very, very, very first week of soft launch, people thought that 6-piece PvP damage increase was like the end all.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't personally see a lot of people actually run the full 6-piece.
Okay.
Again, that's also going to be probably the most exclusive set. It looks like Dark Zone 4, Dark Zone 5, and maybe Sakar 4. You see not just 1 but 2 cards with the golden border there. You're talking about extreme luck, or you're talking about extreme spending. Mm-hmm. And again, go crazy. But there's not much you can do to, really attain that, right? Mm-hmm. But mixing and matching, once again, if you go maybe back to that Dark Zone 4 set, Tony, I think the 2-piece, once again, is just a flat attack bonus, if I'm not mistaken.
So a suggestion here could be go for the 4 set and get another 2-piece set from another good, if you have another good setup with 2 additional cards that you can slot into what you're running. Yeah,
like I said, maybe, again, if you think about a starter baby set starting out, 2-piece Hydra, 4-piece Midgard, you've now got those 6 cards and all the stats they give you. Then you have flat attack, flat crit damage, and flat crit rate. That's a lot of really nice stuff without spending any money, right? Or, spending very little. Now, if you want to upgrade, then maybe the first thing I would actually drop is I would drop the Midgardia 4. Maybe you bring that down to just 2 pieces of Midgardia, and then you stack 2 other cards, maybe from that Dark Zone 4 section, that give you just a 2-piece attack. So then you have 3 different sets, all 2 pieces, but you have crit damage and then 2 different ones that give you flat attack, right? Again, these are just ideas, and if you're not sure where do I get these cards, I see it's in the Midgardia 4 set, but where do I get the Vote for Loki card? Where do I get the Thor card? You can just navigate to that set, click on the specific card, click the little yellow question mark in the top right-hand corner. The game's going to tell you exactly where to go. And you can just navigate to that area, kill your primes, try to get, the higher the damage you get on the prime, If it's your first, 2 kills of the day, you're going to get a better grade of box. So you're either going to get more card quantity, or you're going to get a green or even a blue, 2 or 3 star card. So try to get that, and then you're just, you are waiting for RNG to give you that vote for Loki card, to give you that crit damage, Red Skull card, but you're not spending. This is as you play the game. This is part of your daily routine. It's part of your, most wanted daily, stuff like that, right? And then again, as you get comfortable, as you figure out, okay, this character's my main, I really need crit rate and crit damage, or I really need cooldown reduction. Go back in here, see which cards make the most sense for what you're trying to do, and just figure it out from there, right? But again,
and on some level, players are going to acquire the crystals through playing week to week through rewards. You're going to be able to quote unquote spend on Omega cards if you so choose as well, because you are going to acquire crystals. And that goes back to what Cookie said in the beginning of the video, where some people ask, where should I spend money? And if it's just that you're acquiring crystals through gameplay, because you'll get those crystals as rewards, and you want to know how to best spend those crystals. If you choose to invest in Omega cards, at least you'll have some insight on a direction you can go when you're spending. Sorry, Cookies, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And, again, at the very least, if you're just going to go in crazy and spend a ton of money, have fun. But at the end of the day, even if you spend a bunch of money and you have a bunch of Omega cards, then you got to figure out, well, okay, I've got a bunch of 2 and 3 star Omega cards. 3 if you just buy them from the store, right? You got to crunch those up to 4, 5, and 6, right? You're going to want to know what is worth investing in versus what's to be used as fodder, right? Maybe one more point. Tony, you can click on any card. If we want to go back and look at the inherent stats, you got another AFK kill and another 1-star card. But there are certain stats that at this point in time, the community kind of refers to the roles as a dead stat. So if you click on the options here for Iron Man, PvP increase and decrease is great. Total damage is, at least in my opinion, the best, possible flat roll you can get, because that's just complete additive on top of all your damage. Air to surface, and if you are a character that stays on the ground like a Black Widow or a Spidey, you have surface to air damage. In a lot of cases, people will refer to that as a dead roll, or probably the worst possible roll. The exclusive stats will never re-roll, at least at this point in time. So if you roll a card, as soon as you hit 4 stars, whatever that exclusive roll is, and that's locked to the character that you're rolling it on, whatever that exclusive stat is, it's locked. So if you get air to surface damage, that is never changing. Doesn't matter what you do at this point in time, right? The bonus rolls will always re-roll, right? So I'm looking at a Star-Lord card right now that Tony has. So that PvP damage increase, it's never going to change. The defense, pierce, and dodge rate in the bonus section, that will change. But if you're trying to, again, be efficient, you want to build up a set that, gives you the best bang for your buck. If you hit a 4-star upgrade and you have an air to surface exclusive stat, you may not want to keep taking that to 5 or 6. You may want to sit there and use it as fodder. Now, use discretion, especially if it's a special card. That'd be a pretty tough pill to swallow if the Star-Lord rolled as, air to surface. Don't just get rid of it because Cookies just said that's a terrible stat. I'm not saying that. But I see a lot of people that have 5 or 6 star cards and they have a dead stat. And at least in my opinion, it didn't necessarily needed to be invested in that heavily once they rolled that exclusive stat all the way down at a 4-star card, right?
Yep. So what Cookies was using the word crunching earlier, and what he means is when you get to a certain point, you can take a card like this, you hit combine, and you can take cards of the same level, combine them together, and then you can upgrade it to the next tier level. So what he was referring to, which can get a little scary, is, and I can co-sign on this, I've done this. This Star-Lord card, for instance, used to be a 6-star card. What happened was I re-rolled it, and it became a 2. So power-wise, it downgraded. However, my stats on that 6-star card were garbage. They were not good stats. Like he said, the throwaway stats, there are bad stats in the game. Be careful about falling in love with power over stats. Now, if we look at the stats here, Cookies, what would you say for these stats, even though it's only a 2? So you'll see right here it says 2.
I'm biased. I like most of those.
Defense Pierce is where you're going to...
Yeah, I mean, defense Pierce isn't great,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to have to take what you can get, right?
Yep.
Like, unless the only way for Tony to, again, re-roll this card, his attack and his PvP damage exclusive, that will never, ever, ever change.
So I'm going to show you what I do once I have an important card. Now let's look at this. This is the card right here. We've got a 5-star roll. We have got the crit damage that's always on the fixed effect. Our bonus stats, we have total damage. The crit damage decrease, however, is the throwaway stat here. So our exclusive stat, however, is total damage, which is good. So what we've done is we have another, which is now, I don't want you to think this is normal, that this happens all the time, but we have another one. So we're going to use this card to someday re-roll on so we don't waste, because right now I could, if I wanted to, I have an extra Doctor Strange as well. I could use this as a feeder card to re-roll this Black Widow if I want. However, if I did that, I'm stuck again for however long until I'm able to do that once more if I roll bad stats. So I'm using this other card to re-roll the stats on to see if I then replace that card like I did with the Doctor Strange. So my Doctor Strange, this was my old one. I re-rolled it and got a better one. So I have supervillain damage, which is PvP damage. It's still not an exceptional card. However, it's better than the one I was using. So I'm still holding on to this card for now, and I'm going to re-roll my extras. So if over time you have extra good cards, hold on to them. I've made that mistake myself where I've used those cards later on for feeder cards when I should have held them.
Yep, maybe one more tidbit of advice so the vid doesn't go too long. So again, as always, if you're willing to spend, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But if you are free to play or you don't want to spend very much, how can you get to these 5- and 6-star cards? Because it does take a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure, as I said, you get your 2 prime kills and 7 non-prime kills done every day.
Mm-hmm.
After you hit level 100 and beat the story, do the same thing in Dark Zone. Again, Dark Zone, you don't have to be in there for the full hour. You don't have to compete for leaderboard rewards, but you get another 2 prime and 7 non-prime kills. So that's just bulk cards, that you're going to need. And also, get all of your alts as reasonably as you can through the story and get to squad rank 100. So what does that do for you? Once you hit squad rank 100, and basically as you're getting to squad rank 100 after you beat the story, on every character, once you hit level 100 squad rank, you can get 5 purple Omega cards for each character,
Mm-hmm.
right? Obviously, that will take a little while if you're starting out, but those 5 purple cards constitute 1 orange card or 1 5-star card.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that on all 8 characters currently in the game. That's a lot of bulk value. You're not necessarily going to just use those to equip. In most cases, that will be fodder, although you can get good cards from those rolls. But between the 4 prime and 14 non-prime kills every day between Dark Zone and not Dark Zone, and then those 8 characters that once you hit squad rank 100, you can get your 5 purple cards from. And you can incrementally get those purple cards. I think every 10 levels, so like level 60, level 70, level 80, level 90 squad rank, you
Mm-hmm.
get one of those purple cards. It eventually is 5 total once you hit squad rank 100. But go ahead and get those things claimed. And if you get a really, really good roll, fantastic. If not, you have some high-level fodder to use to then crunch up the good cards that you want. And if you're playing the long game, the activity logs, the very last reward in the activity logs for each region rewards you with another 5-star or orange Omega card, which again, they're not going to be great, but that's going to be fodder. That's how, if you're not spending very much, but you're putting in the time, that you're going to start getting these 5 and these 6-star cards. Because it really, you know, if you get a couple orange cards from doing alts, well, you only need 5 of those to get a 6-star card. If you're trying to get a 6-star card from crunching 1 and 2-star cards, that's going to take way longer, right? Because every single card, you know, every single level takes 5 to get to the next level of card. So if you can jump the line and just earn purple and orange cards from the gameplay mechanics, that's 1, 2, 3, even 4-star cards that you're not even having to earn and accrue, right? You're just jumping the line because you're earning higher level cards, right? You know, from doing the game.
Yeah. Well, this was invaluable information. I think, especially for when I, in retrospect, when I look back to my perspective on Omega cards, this stuff was really overwhelming, and Remenex had some very insightful. We did a similar video on this subject too, but I think now that we've had a lot of time to sit with the game, and this stuff has become more common knowledge for us that have been since soft launch, I think, man, in hindsight, could have avoided a lot of trial and error with some of this knowledge now that we have. Like I said, I made some mistakes with my Omega cards. I probably could have really expedited some of my in-game progress if I would have learned some of this a little bit. But at first I didn't see the value in it. But yeah, these having a plan for Omega cards is a big deal to upgrading your character.
And I personally, I found this to be the least straightforward of the different sort of gearing avenues in the game. Like,
absolutely.
Matches to me are pretty straightforward. These things are just kind of dumped on you, and it's like, you got a bunch of cards, you got these random sets, everything has random rolls, a bunch of stats. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this stuff, right?
Right.
That's why I would say play around with what you can attain cheaply just by playing the game before you dump a whole bunch of money into it. And then once you get there, whatever, dude, go crazy. You know.
Right. All right, Cookies. Well, man, this was a great impromptu video that we pulled off. I appreciate all of your time helping put this together. Hey, we got another Omega card. Speak of the devil. Look forward to doing some more videos like this with you in the future too, man. And again, I can't express how grateful I am for your help on that spreadsheet. Huge valuable resource. And I'm excited. We have some new suits maybe to add to it at some point as well. More testing in the future. So yeah, Cookies, is there any place that these guys can find you? Do you do anything outside of just having a love for the game?
No, but I am in the X-Force Discord way more than I should be. So I'm very much around. Right.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for our Omega card tutorial with Cookies. Cookies, thanks again. You're the best. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.